York Jets select Sauce Gardner.
Sauce Gardner is a New York Jet!
Swaggy Sauce Gardner.
I love Sauce. I love his tape. I love his press technique. I love his confidence. He has everything you want to see in the position. And I think Robert Saleh and this scheme is perfect. It's a hand-in-glove fit for him, man.
Garrett Wilson.
It's Garrett Wilson! The New York Jets have just got two big-time playmakers!
I believe that Garrett Wilson is going to be the most impactful rookie receiver in this class. And I think we see Zach Wilson play like he did the last 6 games of the year, times 10, and have a phenomenal second season.
Wow, you think... Yeah! Yeah! Let's Jermaine Johnson!
Brees Hall, running back, Iowa State.
Brees Hall, oh my God, they got him! They went offense. They went with the best running back in the draft. Jeremy Rucker, oh my God! The Long Island native is a New York Jet!
J-E-T-S, Jet.
Let's go! Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome back to another Jets Media live stream. Why does it feel like it's been way too long since I went live to talk some Jets with you guys? It's been a while, but your boy's back because tomorrow is Jets Minicamp. Tuesday and Wednesday is mandatory Jets Minicamp. All the boys will be in town at One Jets Drive. And we're going to be able to see Mekhi Becton back, even though he will not be practicing, but we're still going to be talking about that. We get to see what Zach Wilson's looking like. We're going to get a lot of reports about what's good with the New York Jets coming tomorrow at mandatory minicamp. So, guys, welcome into the stream. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Monday. If you guys could do me a favor and smash that thumbs up button for your boy on your way into the show. We only have 5 likes with 43 of you guys tuning in. So don't forget to smash that thumbs up button. That means a lot to the stream so we get as many Jets fans and NFL fans in here to talk some Jets and talk some football, of course. So let's get right into the chat. Let's see who's in here. Jets Forever. What's good, my man? Good to see you back. Jack Gaming. What up, bro? What up? What are your thoughts on Terry? Could we trade Corey in a second for Terry? Terry's not going to go anywhere. He's going to get paid. I'm not thinking Terry McLaurin's coming to the Jets at all. Would I want Terry on the Jets? 100%. But that's not happening. I don't think it's going to happen, at least. Phenomenal second season. Let's go, Zach. Yes, sir. Good intro. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Zane, what's good, brother? Amari's in the chat. What's good? Richie, you're on fire. You're on fire, bro. Appreciate you, James. Will the minicamp be just like OTAs? Yeah, pretty much. Minicamp is going to be the same thing as OTAs, but the difference is it's mandatory, so they have to be there, right? Otherwise, they'll be fined. OTAs is voluntary, so it's up to the players' decisions to be at every single OTA practice. On the other hand, minicamp, it's going to be the same type of drills, same type of format, but it's mandatory, and every single player has to be there. Otherwise, there'll be penalties by the franchise. So that's really the biggest difference of minicamp, and it's also like the last time where these players will be doing intense practices. And then they'll have a big break, and then training camp comes around late July, early August is when that begins. So we'll be feeling good about that. Are you going to live stream the Flight 22 on Thursday? I got something great to tell you guys about that. Can we hurry up to the regular season? Hell yeah, Amari. Hell yeah. You should have a Namath jersey for us old folks. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Matthew. I appreciate that. I actually got my father a Joe Namath jersey for Father's Day, not this year, last year, actually, because that's obviously my dad's hero. He was alive and watching the Jets when he was a young kid when the Jets won the Super Bowl. So I got a Joe Namath jersey. It's not for me, though. It's for my dad, and he rocks it. He rocks it well. What's good? What up, my man? What up? What up? Let's go, Jets. What up, Joseph? All right, so let's get right into the first topic I want to talk about in today's stream. And again, guys, I appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning in. Don't forget to smash that thumbs up button if you did not already. Greatly appreciate each and every one of you. So Mekhi Becton will be at practice, but he will not be participating in practice. He'll be watching from the sideline. Now, Mekhi Becton is a really interesting topic because his name has been everywhere all offseason. How is he in his recovery? Is he overweight? Is he in shape? Why is he not at OTAs? He's having the birth of his first child. Where's Mekhi? He's a big X factor of the offensive line. Now, if you guys know me, you know that I'm a huge Mekhi Becton supporter. I think that when he's on the field and he's in shape and he is playing, he has potential to be one of the best offensive tackles in the league. And I say that with truth because tape don't lie. You look at what he did as a rookie in the NFL, and he was dominating the top defensive lineman in the league as a rookie. He went up against Aaron Donald. And if you guys watched that Jets-Rams game and watched the tape, he did pretty well against the best defensive player of this generation. He also held his ground against Nick Bosa, also held his ground against his brother and Joey Bosa. So Mekhi Becton had an excellent rookie season. Now, was it flawless? Absolutely not. You don't expect a rookie offensive tackle season to be flawless, but he showed enough promise where he's like, wow, if he develops and gets better, he is going to be a top 5 tackle in the NFL. And then you come around to year number 2, and of course, on Zach Wilson's first touchdown pass of his career, Greg Van Roten got blown up, and he let his guy get thrown in to Mekhi Becton's knee. Mekhi Becton goes down week number 1. He does not return for the rest of the season. Mekhi Becton's a big man, so he's been recovering from that knee injury ever since that game against the Carolina Panthers at week number 1. So now here we are, fast forward all the way to June, and Mekhi Becton is been rehabbing all offseason, and he's still not going to be practicing. So this tells me that they're trying to be safe with him. Apparently, the coaching staff is expecting him to be a full participant in training camp that comes around. They just don't want to risk Mekhi Becton in OTAs because, it's not like the offensive line and defensive line does much in OTAs, in minicamp, because there's no pads. So it's not a big deal, in my opinion, that Mekhi is not going to be participating in practice. That just tells me that the Jets are trying to be a little more cautious with him. They don't want to rush him back, and they're just playing things safe. Same thing with Carl Lawson. Carl Lawson got injured in training camp last year against the Green Bay Packers in their joint practices. If you guys remember, he ruptured his Achilles, and 10 months later, Carl Lawson's still not even participating in OTAs, but they're expecting him to be a full go in training camp. So let's hope that both Carl Lawson and Mekhi Becton will be good to go in training camp, because those two guys, if you guys remember last year, was the cornerstone of our entire trenches on both sides of the ball. Carl Lawson was looked as the core piece on the defensive side of the ball. Mekhi Becton was looked as the core piece on the offensive side of the ball when it comes to the trenches. So let's hope those two guys are back. But it is going to be fun to see Mekhi Becton on the practice field in uniform. He's going to talk to the media. That's definitely going to be interesting because the New York Jets beat team is ruthless. They're going to ask him questions. They're going to be like, why are you not OTAs? And listen, he had a newborn child. I'm not expecting him to be at OTAs. That's, some things are just a little more bigger than football. So the last thing I'll say about Mekhi Becton before we move on to the next topic is I'm really excited for him to come back. I'm hoping that he's in shape and hoping that he's on the field and ready to go. I really think the only thing that's going to hold him back as a player and his being successful for the New York Jets is him being available. I really genuinely believe if Mekhi Becton's on the field and he's playing football this season, he's going to prove every single Jets fan why he was the 11th overall pick in 2020 and why he is looked at as the franchise tackle for this team for the next decade. The only thing that will hold him back is injuries. The problem with Mekhi has never been talent. It's never been effort. It's never been, his dominance on the field or his technique or his footwork. His question has never been his stuff on the field. It's more the stuff of him staying ready. And he was pretty healthy throughout his rookie season. It's just unfortunate that he had that really fluky thing that happened to him in the beginning of his sophomore season. So let's hope that Mekhi Becton is good to go and ready to play by week 1 and can play at least 13 games this season, because that would be so huge for Mekhi Becton and this entire offensive line. I'm just so sick of hearing the Mekhi Becton slander because people just forget about what he did as a rookie, and they're just making it seem like he's a bust and making it seem like he's not a good player. It's just so false. The only thing you can say about Mekhi that's true is that he was not able to rehab from his injury and was out for the season. So I'm excited for Mekhi Becton to prove everyone wrong this season, and I hope you guys are too. Let's have belief in our players, and let's spread some positive energy, baby. Let's spread some positive energy. Now let's move on to the next player, who is Zach Wilson. I want to ask you guys this question in the chat. Who do you think Zach Wilson's favorite targets are going to be early in minicamp? So there's one player that comes to mind that a lot of reporters are saying has been Zach Wilson's favorite target, and that's tight end Tyler Conklin. Tyler Conklin, I think, is going to have a big-time season for the New York Jets at the tight end position. The Jets have not had a legit tight end in I don't even know how long, since Dustin Keller, Austin Seferian-Jenkins with that fluke year. Chris Herndon in his rookie season. I mean, we do not have good tight ends as a franchise. And now all of a sudden, the Jets have 3 quality tight ends that we're excited about, all brand new to the team, that being Tyler Conklin, CJ Uzomah, and Jeremy Ruckert. If I had to choose one of those 3 tight ends to really emerge as a top guy, I'm picking Tyler Conklin. He's been all over the place in OTAs. He's getting all the targets. He's getting all the first-team reps. And yes, CJ Uzomah is a little nicked up, so he's not participating in practice, which has a lot to do with that. But I really feel like for Zach Wilson loves his tight ends. If you watch his tape at BYU, he really loves throwing to that position. And now that the Jets finally have a player in Tyler Conklin, who was really productive last year for the Minnesota Vikings, and he's also entering the prime of his career, I think Tyler Conklin is going to be one of his favorite targets in minicamp. Another player that I really feel like Jets fans need to realize that probably will have a good season this year if he's on the field, that being Corey Davis. Corey Davis is going to be one of Zach Wilson's favorite targets. If you guys remember last year, in preseason, it felt like Zach Wilson was force-feeding the ball to Corey Davis because that was like the only receiver it felt like he had a chemistry with. Because remember, Elijah Moore, he was injured in training camp with a quad, so Zach did not really get an opportunity to develop chemistry with Elijah Moore in training camp. So Zach Wilson's chemistry was with pretty much Corey Davis and nobody else early in his rookie season. So I feel like that chemistry is still there. Zach Wilson flew to Nashville and threw the ball with Corey Davis during the offseason. And I feel like Corey Davis gets way too much hate from Jets fans, and I just personally don't know why. Everyone wants him gone. Everyone wants him traded. Everyone wants him cut. I don't understand that philosophy, in my opinion. If you guys remember last year, early in the season, week number 1, he started off the season with 2 touchdowns. The first 2 touchdowns of Zach Wilson's life was to wide receiver Corey Davis. Corey Davis also had that crazy touchdown against the Tennessee Titans. He had a dominant game early against the Tennessee Titans. That was week number 4, if I believe. So Corey Davis started off the season last year strong, and then he started to struggle. He had a couple drops. He had a couple miscommunications with Zach Wilson, and then he got injured for the rest of the season. Corey Davis is a really big X factor for this team this year because we have Elijah Moore. We have Garrett Wilson. Those 2 guys are the young studs of the offense at the wide receiver position that we're excited for the long term. And I feel like Elijah Moore is going to get a lot of coverage, double teams from opponents, defenses, and so is Garrett Wilson. So I think this is a really good opportunity for Corey Davis to get opened up, and I feel like Zach Wilson's going to find Corey Davis. And no, is he the flashy guy? Is he the guy that everyone wants me to talk about? No, everyone's like, Richie, why are you talking about Corey Davis, right? I personally feel like Corey Davis might have a big season this year, and I just don't know why Jets fans are like rooting against him. They want him gone. There's nothing wrong with having depth at the wide receiver position. He's the only wide receiver on this team that's a veteran. That is a guy that people look up to. Garrett Wilson is going to be picking the brain of Corey Davis because Corey Davis knows what it's like to be drafted early in the first round. So he can give Garrett Wilson insight of how to handle that pressure. Elijah Moore looks up to Corey Davis as a big-time veteran. So Corey Davis is that captain last year that's going to really be that veteran presence in the locker room, and he's an important piece of this offense. I really genuinely believe that. He was a former 6th overall pick that never lived up to the hype, obviously, in Tennessee. And if you guys look at the stats last year, if Corey Davis did not get hurt, he would have had way over 1,000 yards. So I'm so sick of the Corey Davis slander. I respect him big time, and I feel like he's going to have a really good season this year if he does not get injured, especially because he's one of those players that is not a number 1 receiver. I think every Jets fan knows that Corey Davis is not a traditional number 1, but he thrives when he's next to a number 1. And how about this? We might have 2 number 1s, not named Corey Davis, and I already mentioned them in Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson. So my point is, Corey Davis's best season of his career came when he was on the Tennessee Titans and A.J. Brown had his breakout season. And Corey Davis was this like 16 yards shy of 1,000 yards. So Corey Davis thrives when he's not the number 1 option. Last year, he was a number 1 option, wasn't really playing his best football, which is why I feel like with all the weapons around Zach Wilson at the tight end position, even at the running back position, and now adding Garrett Wilson to the mix, it's only going to open up Corey Davis. And then the other player that I feel like Zach Wilson might have the best chemistry with out of everybody on the entire team, Braxton Berrios. Braxton Berrios, I think, is going to be the full-time slot receiver for this team. Now, everyone in the comments are going to say, what, Richie? That's crazy. Well, think about it. Jamison Crowder's gone, and he is now in the Buffalo Bills, and he was our full-time slot last year. We basically replaced Jamison Crowder with Garrett Wilson. I think Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore are going to be on the outside and on the inside. But when it comes to the full-time slot receiver on certain packages, I feel like Braxton Berrios is going to be involved in this offense way more than people realize. Because Braxton Berrios definitely has the best chemistry with Zach Wilson out of any of these players. And that's not an indictment on anybody. That's just saying, Elijah Moore was not healthy at the end of the year last year to get that chemistry. Neither was Corey Davis. When Zach Wilson played his best football of his career as a rookie last year, guess who his number one target was? It's sad, but the truth is it was Braxton Berrios. Braxton Berrios was the player at the end of the season last year that was healthy, and Zach Wilson was getting all those first downs. It was 3rd and short. Braxton Berrios would find the sticks and get open. Braxton Berrios was that guy, that gadget player that was so utilized beautifully by Mike LaFleur. And I feel like now Mike LaFleur has an entire offseason to really plan Braxton Berrios in all these different roles. So I just want everyone to realize that it's not going to be all about Garrett Wilson. It's not going to be all about Elijah Moore. There's going to be a lot of players at this wide receiver position that Zach Wilson is going to be spreading the ball around. And I feel like Braxton Berrios is going to have a way bigger role on this offense than most people realize. And then you want to transition to the running backs. Zach Wilson is going to really rely on these running backs big time, not only in the running game, but you're going to see Zach Wilson check the ball down to Breece Hall and Michael Carter tremendously. I always think back to this game and no, Zach Wilson was not playing in it, obviously, but the big Mike White explosion, the 405-yard game from Mike White, all came from checking it down to running backs. If you watch the tape, and it's not anything against Mike White, I absolutely love you, Mike White, but Michael Carter ate that game because it was all about Mike White playing within the structure of the offense and getting the ball into the playmaker's hands with space. And that's what the scheme is all about. So if Zach Wilson can get comfortable of just checking the ball down to Breece Hall and Michael Carter with space, and we have blockings ahead of them, dude, first of all, Breece Hall is a player that can take the ball to the end zone anytime he touches the ball, whether that's an 80-yard touchdown, 50 yards, 40 yards, 100 yards. He's that good. He's that much of a home run hitter. So I feel like Zach Wilson is going to get really comfortable with the running backs, with the tight ends, and the wide receivers, and that's a big-time thing to look at early in OTAs, early in minicamp. Who is Zach Wilson relying on? Is it the tight end room? Is it the wide receiver room? Which receivers is he really relying on? So that's really the players that comes to mind when I feel like talking about chemistry with Zach Wilson is – how is he going to get on the same page of Garrett Wilson, the new rookie? That's a big question. I also do feel like Elijah Moore and Zach Wilson have a chemistry as well. Unfortunately, Elijah Moore had to get injured at the back end of the season last year, so we did not get to see them really explode together, which really sucks. But hopefully they can stay healthy, and Elijah Moore is probably going to lead the team in receptions and yards and touchdowns, if I had to say. If there's one player at the wide receiver position that's going to be the number one guy in terms of stats, that's going to be Elijah Moore, and Garrett Wilson behind him, and then Corey Davis, and then Braxton Berrios. That's my prediction when it comes to that front. Now, this is another interesting question. Who is going to run with the starters? Now, around the entire, on offense and defense, so far, Sauce Gardner has not ran with the ones yet. Bryce Hall has been the starting corner. Now, a lot of Jets fans are like, what's going on here? Why is Bryce Hall doing it? I absolutely love this approach from Robert Saleh because you just do not hand somebody the job without earning it. Sauce Gardner was the 4th overall pick. And warning, disclaimer, Sauce Gardner will be your starting cornerback in week number 1, so do not get worried. What Robert Saleh is doing is giving Sauce Gardner an opportunity to go win that job because me personally, I think Bryce Hall has every single right to have that number 1 cornerback role early in OTAs because of how good he played last year. So this is not anything against Sauce. It's not anything good about Bryce. It's just the Jets coaching staff really understanding that it doesn't matter where you're drafted, how much money you're earning, you need to earn your right to start on this team. And if they just gifted Sauce Gardner the starting job, then he's just going to feel comfortable there and not have an urge to go fight for something. So now Sauce has an urge to try to go win that job and go win that starting role, which he's going to do. I mean, Sauce Gardner is going to be your starting corner. So I just want to make sure everyone knows that I say that. So I'm really excited to see Sauce Gardner eventually run with the ones, and it's going to be DJ Reed and Sauce. And it's so crazy to me that Bryce Hall is on this team and he's not even going to be starting. They might bring him in on certain packages because I really feel like Hall is talented enough to be a really good corner in this league, where if he was on any other franchise, he'd be starting. So that's how much I love Bryce Hall and Sauce and DJ and Michael Carter II and Brandon Echols. I mean, our cornerbacks run deep, and I feel like they're going to be one of the most fun positions to watch. Even on the wide receiver position, who's going to be running with the starters? I think, if I had to guess, the top 5 receivers is going to be, not in any order, Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, Corey Davis, Braxton Berrios, and Denzel Mims. Now, is Denzel Mims going to actually be that fifth receiver? Because we all know what happened last year. He had food poisoning, wasn't able to participate in OTAs. He was behind, couldn't, understand the playbook. And then there was so many reports from the beat that the Jets coaching staff didn't believe in Mims. And then he finally got his opportunity last year, and he absolutely fumbled his opportunity by dropping a pass and dropping a touchdown. He had multiple pre-snap penalties, just did not look comfortable out there at all last year, right? So this is a big opportunity for Denzel Mims because this is his first offseason where he's healthy. He's in shape. There's no setbacks. He's participating in practice. He has a good opportunity to learn the playbook. This is the first time in Denzel Mims' career with the Jets that he's going into the same system where he doesn't have to relearn an entire playbook. So I'm really excited to see Denzel Mims, show up and prove to the coaching staff that I'm a receiver that you want to put me on the field because Denzel Mims has 4.3 speed. He has a huge frame. He can go up there and catch the ball. So he's pretty much everything you'd want. Denzel Mims is that player that we want him to replace Corey Davis for the long term, right? I want Corey Davis to go off this year. I want Corey Davis to be back here next year. But the best case scenario is Denzel Mims replaces Corey Davis for the long term, and he's that big body receiver on the outside for the long haul. So interesting to see who's going to be running with the ones at the wide receiver position. And then the tight ends, right? There's a player that is now a tight end that I don't know if everyone is familiar with this, but Lawrence Cager is now a tight end for the New York Jets. And he's been playing pretty darn good. He's been flashing a lot because CJ Uzomah and Jeremy Ruckert have not been participating in OTAs. So Lawrence Cager, who was a wide receiver when we first signed him as an undrafted free agent in the 2020 draft, he's now added 25, 30 pounds and now is a tight end. So if Lawrence Cager can become a really good receiving threat at the tight end position and he wants to be that fourth tight end, sign me up. I feel like that fourth tight end role job is really up for grabs between Kenny Yeboah, Trevon Wesco, Lawrence Cager. It's going to be interesting to see who wins that job. But those are the big tight ends that I'm looking at, right? I feel like Tyler Conklin is definitely going to be a starter. CJ is going to be a starter. Ruckert's got to earn his role. And then when it comes to the other guys like Trevon Wesco, Kenny Yeboah, and Lawrence Cager, I'm interested to see what happens with them when it comes to minicamp. Now, this is the big question. This man right here. What's our expectations from him in year number 2 in minicamp, right? So it's really hard to, if you guys watch my OTA recaps and you watch my, reports about everything, I try not to read too much into OTAs, especially when it comes to Zach Wilson. You don't want to get too happy about the good. You also don't want to get too upset about the bad. And what that means is Zach Wilson's experimenting. And you can say that with every player on this team and every player around the league, right? OTAs is a perfect opportunity for these players to experiment. What can I get away with? What can't I get away with? So when Zach Wilson throws an interception and Connor Hughes tweets it out and it's like the worst pass ever, and everyone on Twitter that's like Dolphins fans or like non-Jets fans and see that tweet like, oh, Zach Wilson sucks. He's throwing picks. He's throwing ducks in OTAs. That might like upset some Jets fans and upset people that's seeing that, but that does not worry me. That tells me that Zach Wilson is learning and he's experimenting. He's trying to get away with things. This is where you want him to throw those interceptions. This is where you want him to really learn the playbook, because what we want to see from him in minicamp this year, comparatively speaking to last year, is Zach Wilson have a really good understanding of the offense where he's walking into the huddle, Mike LaFleur calls a play, and he knows the play like immediately to the point where he doesn't have to think about like, okay, what's my protection here? What are my reads? What are the wide receivers doing? What's my job? Like that's the quarterback's mindset as a rookie. Every single rookie quarterback, that's what they're thinking. But when it comes to a year 2 quarterback, especially, which is so important going into the same system in year number 2, things should be clicking a little easier. Where Michael LaFleur calls a play, he instinctually knows where everybody needs to be, what he needs to do as a quarterback. That's why I'm expecting Zach Wilson to take a pretty big leap in year number 2, is because of the continuity factor. A lot of people ask me, Richie, what's the biggest difference between Sam Darnold going into year number 2 than Zach Wilson? Well, the biggest thing that is so huge is continuity. Sam Darnold had Todd Bowles and Jeremy Bates as a rookie, and then going into year number 2, Sam Darnold had to learn a brand new playbook. You can even say that about the rookie quarterbacks from last year around the league. Trevor Lawrence, he has to learn a brand new playbook going into year number 2. Justin Fields needs to learn a brand new playbook going into year number 2. Even Mac Jones, he doesn't have his coordinator anymore. He's with the Raiders now. So with Zach Wilson has a really big advantage on his side that he has continuity. He has the same coaches around him. He has LaFleur still in his ear. He has Calabrese still in his ear. It's the same system. It's the same verbiage. That's so important. So what I want to see from Zach Wilson is he processing things quickly? Is he not overthinking? Is he decisive with his reads? Is his footwork on point? That's really the more important things for me personally than him throwing interceptions, because him throwing interceptions tells me that he's going out there. The coaches are probably telling him, hey, I want you to try to force this over the middle. Like, can you get away with that? Let's experiment here. This is where you want to see what you can get away with and what you can't. So that's really my thoughts when it comes to Zach Wilson, the quarterback position, when it comes to practice, especially when it's not pads, especially if there's no live pass rush, right? This is where Zach Wilson is really going to be a guy that's experimenting, and pretty much every player is going to be doing the same thing. King Blaze with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much, my man. What numbers do you think Zach will have if all cylinders go? If all cylinders go, I mean, I guess that's part of the question. So that means everything's clicking. Let me just take a quick sip of this. I'm thirsty. I just talked for 25 straight minutes. Hydration, key. But in all seriousness, if all cylinders go, and I'm assuming that means health, offensive line staying healthy, the weapons around Zach are staying healthy for the most part, the running game is clicking, I think Zach Wilson has what it takes in year number 2 to put up 23, 24 passing touchdowns, 9 to 10 interceptions, 4 or 5 rushing touchdowns, 3,800 passing yards, 65 completion percentage. I mean, that's me trying to be realistic. If he does that, I'm down. If he does that, I think Jets fans will be satisfied, because nobody should expect him to blow up and have 35 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, right? That's just unrealistic. If it happens, every single Jets fan will literally be on cloud 9. But my expectation from Zach Wilson, if everything clicks, is for him to just show up. I mean, listen, guys, expectations should be a little high for Zach because he is the 2nd overall pick, right? It's not like we're drafting a guy in the 3rd round or trying to develop him. There's a lot of expectation that goes into the 2nd overall pick. So, and there's also the factor that there's a lot of talent around him now where there's no excuses, where Sam Darnold, there's a lot of excuses you can make for him. He had no protection. He had another system to learn. He had no running backs. He had no receivers, no tight ends. The system was terrible. This time around, Zach Wilson, system is proven to be successful all around the league. He has the best receiver room I've seen on the Jets on paper in a long time, the best tight end room we've seen on paper in a long time, and the best running back. I mean, look around Zach Wilson, and it's ridiculous. He's spoiled. If you guys watch my channel like frequently, and you remember what I was saying, what I want the Jets to do before this offseason, before free agency, before the trades, before the draft, you know what I was saying? I was saying I want Joe Douglas to spoil Zach Wilson to the point where Zach Wilson walks on the field and he's like, I might have too many weapons. I don't know who to throw the ball to. And that's exactly what Joe Douglas did. Joe Douglas spoiled Zach Wilson. That's a great thing, to be spoiled as a quarterback, because that means you don't know where to go with the football because there's so many guys. And that's why I don't know where, who's going to be Zach's favorite option, because I feel like he's going to spread the ball around. He has 9 legitimately weapons. If you factor in all the receivers, the running backs, and the tight ends, there's 9 or 10 guys where I feel confident to go pick up a first down for Zach, or catch the ball and pick up an extra 10 to 15 yards, or catch the ball and take it to the house, or beat his man on one-on-one. That's ridiculous. So shout out to Joe Douglas. You did a phenomenal job in the offseason to really spoil Zach Wilson with weapons and protection. Now it's really up to Zach Wilson. It's also up to Mike LaFleur. It's also up to the players around Zach Wilson to actually live up to their hype that we're all talking about. So I feel like Jets fans should have high expectations for Zach Wilson, but they also have to realize that he is a young quarterback and he's not going to be perfect immediately. He's going to have some mistakes. He's going to throw interception, and where we're all looking at each other like, why did he just throw that ball? That was atrocious. He's going to be learning. He's not going to be perfect immediately. That's my expectations from Zach Wilson, for him to, make mistakes early in the season and kind of get better as the season progresses, kind of similarly to last year, but hopefully not in the same magnitude, because Zach was really bad last year early in the season, to the point where it was bad. So I'm hoping that Zach has a couple of those games where he has like 3 touchdowns, maybe 2 interceptions, and like that's a game where he looked really good, but there were some plays where like, all right, Zach, you can't do that. You got to learn from those. And then as the season goes on, he learns from those mistakes. He doesn't repeat those mistakes because that's called development, right? When you're trying to develop these players outside of Zach Wilson, but all these young guys, how do they learn from their mistakes? Do they make the same mistakes over and over again? Because if they make the same mistakes over and over again, that's where you get in trouble and that's where you get cut. That's where you don't survive in the NFL. NFL players that are successful, especially what differentiates the good and the great ones are they don't make the same mistakes. They make a mistake, they learn from it, they don't repeat it. The good players, they're consistent. The bad players, they're just inconsistent. They just make bad plays after bad plays. They just don't know what they're doing in the league. Basically, it's not meant for it. And then those are the guys that don't last. So it'll be very interesting to see how Zach Wilson deals with adversity in year number 2, because that's another thing that he mentioned actually on the Exchange podcast with Nick Mangold and Mark Sanchez in that interview. Zach Wilson was featured on there, and he said that he's learning from his mistakes way differently this year. Things are processing quickly. When he goes on to film and he watches a mistake he made in OTAs, he knows how to correct it easier. Instead of last year, he was like a little shell shocked, like, oh my God, why did I just throw that? Why did I make that mistake? Like now he kind of has that more respect with the locker room where they know that it's part of the game to make mistakes. And that's what I really have to like remind everybody, that this game of football is hard. And like, you can't expect these guys to be flawless every single day in practice. Like there's going to be guys, like there's going to be like Sauce, for example, is going to get beat down the sidelines by Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore is going to get clamped by Sauce on another play. Like it's just OTAs, minicamp, training camp. That's all about, repetition and learning the playbook, understanding personnel, and developing chemistry. Now, the next topic I want to talk about, which is very interesting, is that the Jets are still interested in these 3 players, and they have the cap space to afford them. Larry Ogunjobi is a defensive tackle that we brought in for a visit a while ago. Same with Quan Alexander. There was a recent report that we're still interested in Quan Alexander. And the most recent guy that visited One Jets Drive is actually offensive tackle Riley Reiff. So are the Jets going to sign one of these guys before training camp? They have the money to do it, and it would be smart to do it as well. Now, if there's one guy out of these 3 players I would honestly prefer Riley Reiff. Because what Riley Reiff does is it creates so much insurance at the offensive line position. What Morgan Moses did last year was so important, to the point where when Mekhi Becton went down, Morgan Moses slid in, and now all of a sudden we had 2 really good veteran offensive tackles on both sides of the offensive line, in Mekhi Becton and George Fant. So first of all, George Fant and Mekhi Becton are both rehabbing right now. George Fant had an injury last year. He's still rehabbing. He's not even participating in any. Excuse me again. Sorry, the hiccups. He's not even participating in any practices. So both of our tackles are a little nicked up right now. And we also have a rookie in Max Mitchell that I'm not too comfortable throwing him out there to the fire right away. Max Mitchell's more of a developmental piece. So it'll be very smart for the Jets to bring in Riley Reiff as a swing tackle, where if one of Fant or Becton cannot go out there, Riley Reiff fills in as the veteran 33-year-old offensive lineman. Now, Quan Alexander, if we sign him, I don't want him to start. I'd rather CJ Mosley and Quincy Williams start. I know there's a lot of people that feel like Quincy Williams is a little overrated. Now, I don't think he's going to be a Pro Bowler like he said he wants to be, which is okay. You're a player. You're supposed to have those ambitious goals. But if we sign Quan Alexander, it's way more for depth. I like CJ Mosley and Quincy Williams. I like Hamza Nasruddin and Jamie Sherwood entering year number 2 in the system. Quan Alexander would just be a guy that would add depth. Like, if we got him, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, give him the starting role next to CJ and we'll run it. I prefer Quincy Williams over him. I prefer Hamza Nasruddin, to be honest. Now, are those guys, the best players on the team? No. I know that the linebacker position is definitely a big question mark for this team. Not every single position can be perfect. If every position was perfect, we'd be a bona fide playoff team every single season. It's going to take a while for that to happen. I think we can all agree that there's really only 2 positions that's the weak link on this team, and that's linebackers and safeties. That's really it. I like the corner depth. I love the defensive line. I just uploaded my defensive line breakdown today on my channel with Jack, and we broke that down for 24 minutes, and man, was that fun because the defensive line's that stacked. I love the offensive line. I love the receivers. The tight ends, yes. Running backs, oh my God. Quarterback, we'll see about Zach. He hasn't proved to be the guy just yet, but I got a lot of confidence in him being the guy. So the only two positions on this team that I can say there's a big question mark surrounding them is linebackers and safety. And the funny thing about that is CJ Mosley is a damn good football player. I mean, he's coming off a season with over 100 total solo tackles, had the second most total tackles in franchise history. Now, CJ Mosley, it's a little different because he's not like the answer for that position long-term. He's that veteran captain right now, which we need. And then the safeties, I love Jordan Whitehead. I feel like Jets fans are going to fall in love with his play style right away. Hard hitter, can contain mobile quarterbacks, can cover deep, can line up in the box, can blitz the quarterback, can do a lot of things. And then LaMarcus Joyner is that veteran that we missed out last year big time. He's more that guy that's going to be vocal, going to ground sauce, going to help out DJ Reed in the whole verbiage aspect. And then there's guys like Jason Pinnock at the safety position, who now all of a sudden is like transition from corner to safety and making big time plays. He picked off Zach Wilson in OTAs last week. He is looking really good at the safety position. And then Ashton Davis is getting pretty much an interception every single practice. He had a one-handed grab. We also have Will Parks. Like, we have a lot of guys at his safety position that's going to be a really healthy competition. Now, on paper, the safety position, the linebacker position doesn't look that good. I know that, but don't make it seem like they're atrocious, right? We got Jordan Whitehead. We're bringing back Joyner. Those are two solid veterans. Whitehead is actually in the prime of his career. And then we have good two safeties that are young that we drafted that we're trying to develop in Jason Pinnock and Ashton Davis. So we'll see about those two positions. Now, the next topic I want to talk about is in OTAs. And guys, before we get into the next topic, I just want to mention, if you guys are new to the stream, please help me out and hit that like button for your boy. We have 49 likes with 134 you guys tuning into the show. I would greatly appreciate if each and every one of you guys can smash that thumbs up button for me. I really do appreciate that. Help me get to 100 likes. That will be the goal by the end of the stream. 100 likes. Help me out, guys. Appreciate you. So, how about this? Can the offense start to click in minicamp? Because the offense has showed flashes in OTAs, but there's no denying that the defense has pretty much won the majority of practices. Now, there were some days where offense won, but according to all the beat, it feels like the defense has been getting the best of the offense. Now, is that a bad thing? No, because you want the defense to play well. Newsflash, defense was last in the league last year, 32nd to be exact. Bad. So it's a good thing that the defense is playing well. The defense is completely revamped. The secondary is going to be a new player at every single position in the secondary from last year. Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, Jordan Whitehead, and LaMarcus Joyner. Those are the starters that everyone's expecting. Now, could somebody else win that job at the safety position? Yeah. Can Jason Pinnock somehow show up in training camp and win it over LaMarcus Joyner? That would be awesome. I don't see it happening because I feel like the Jets are going to be more comfortable with the veteran in LaMarcus Joyner. But what I'm trying to say is the secondary is so different this year. So it is interesting to see that how the defense is getting the best of the offense. So I feel like I would love to see the offense show up in the minicamp and Zach just light it up. But that's just not realistic. It's not going to happen. I see an interesting question. Do the interceptions in practice worry or excite you more? We have a good defense, or is Zach making boneheaded decisions? So, Vince, I actually talked about this earlier in the stream. I don't know if you were here for that, but I'll briefly say my point again. In OTAs, you can't really get too worried about interceptions because Zach Wilson, number one, is experimenting, right? This is a perfect opportunity for Zach Wilson to experiment of what he can get away with, what he can't get away with. Oh, it's in the red zone. I'm going to try to force this. Can I get away with this in the NFL? Can I squeeze this ball in? And he tries it out and it's an interception. He's like, okay, you know what? I can't do that. So you can't look at every single interception and make it feel like it's Zach Wilson just being a bad quarterback. It's a combination of the defense making good plays and Zach Wilson experimenting. Now, Now, of course, there are some plays where Zach Wilson just throws a bad pass, makes a boneheaded decision. That's going to happen. He will learn from it, as we all hope. So when you see Zach Wilson throw an interception, I don't get too concerned because, number one, it's a good thing for the defense to get, in the habit, the secondary of picking off balls, because the Jets last year, the Jets in general in the past couple seasons have just not got interceptions. We never get interceptions. So it would be really fun to see if the secondary can really, be a defense that can take the ball away and help out Zach and get the ball in. Hennessy's in the chat. Practice? We talk about practice. It's not the game. People need to relax. Can't get too high or too low. Facts, Hennessy. I always say that in every single OTA video because everyone loves to feel like the sky's falling when stuff goes bad. But when stuff goes good, we're popping champagne. We're feeling like we're on top of the world. So you got to ground yourself. You got to have that even keel mindset. You see something that's good, be like, oh, wow, that's dope. And something bad happens, like, all right, hopefully they can fix that, right? You can't read too much into it. But us as Jets fans, we don't have anything right now. It's the off season. We're rabid fans. We want to know everything. That's my job to present to you guys what's happening in camp so I can, translate what the beat is saying over there at practice. All right, so I want to open this up to a Jets Q&A. What's up, man? What's up, Satisfying Shorts? So I'm going to be making a lot of – I see Zachary asking, what are you doing for Flight 2022? I'm going to be making videos on Flight 2022 for sure. I'm going to be recapping it. But I was also invited to the exclusive premiere for Flight 2022. So I will be in attendance of the screening of Flight 22 at One Jets Drive, which is pretty crazy stuff. So that's going to be fun. I'm excited to be there and watch it and watch the first episode. And I'll get to give you guys my inside information on what I learned and what I saw and who I talked to. I don't know what to expect. Still have no idea what to expect, but I'm excited for that. Really excited for that. That's Wednesday night. And I'm pretty sure they're premiering it on Thursday. So I get a exclusive look at it, I guess. Thank you to the Jets organization for making that happen. That's going to be really fun. So let's get into a Jets Q&A. So if anybody wants to ask me a question, feel free to send it over in the chat. Remember, Super Chat, skip the line. You guys get priority. You guys go first. So regarding the Jets minicamp, we basically broke down Mekhi Becton. He will be there but not be practicing. Who is Zach Wilson going to have chemistry with early? Who will run with the ones? The Jets still have cap space to sign another player. Can the offense start to click? There's a lot of stuff that's going to be looking at in the minicamp. Richie, did you see the Bills sign Greg Van Roten? Let's hope they need to rely on him. Yeah, I hope Greg Van Roten has to play with the Bills. That's a great thing. You know what that means? That the Bills, I don't want to wish injuries on anybody, but that means that Quinnen Williams will demolish him and John Franklin Myers will literally toss him. So shout out to GVR. I wish you the best. I'm happy you're not on the team anymore, but I respect. I mean that with respect, okay? Wilson is our guy. After years of needing a good, talented quarterback, most of the league knows the talent Wilson has. They're just afraid to admit anything because Wilson plays for the Jets. Dakota, you're onto something. Zach Wilson was drafted number 2 for a reason. He wasn't drafted with the 2nd overall pick because for no reason. Like, it wasn't just the Jets reaching on someone. If the Jets had the 7th pick that year, for example, Zach Wilson would not be on the Jets. He'd be going before them. So he is a very talented quarterback. The only thing that's going to make Zach Wilson a successful franchise quarterback for the New York Jets is one thing. It's his mind. He has the arm. He has the athleticism. He has every single physical tool you can possibly imagine for a franchise quarterback. The only thing that's going to determine Zach Wilson's success with the New York Jets and the NFL in general is up here. How is he going to be able to process things? How is he going to be able to articulate defenses? How is he going to develop chemistry with his teammates? How is he going to understand the playbook? How is he going to be able to look off defenders? Like, there's so much to the quarterback position that's mental that we don't understand as fans. So that's really it for Zach Wilson, because I think that if you talk to an NFL fan, it says that Zach just doesn't have it physically. They just don't know what they're talking about. It's just totally, they're just speaking out of their butt. I mean, that's just false, right? That's not even an opinion. Like if you talk to like people that know what they're talking about with football, they will all tell you that Zach Wilson has crazy arm talent. He has that unique little whip with his arm. He can flick the ball 65 yards down the field with ease. He can throw off platform. He can do all the fun stuff. So it's really all up to Zach to stay and master those fundamentals, master those fundies where you can have those 5-step dropbacks, hitch, get the ball out quickly, and get timing with his receivers. 49ers were praying that the Jets would not take Wilson. Shanahan loved him. Agreed. That is very true. Did we have the same conversation about Darnold as we are now having about Zach? I've only been a fan since Zach joined. Yeah, we had the same conversation about Sam. Going into year number 2, it was a really different energy because I mentioned this earlier, but Sam had to learn a new playbook because we just hired Adam Gase when Sam was entering year number 2. And, after Sam's rookie season, nobody knew if he was the guy or not. A lot of Jets fans, including myself, had optimism that he would be, but we didn't know if he is. And same thing goes for Zach Wilson right now. I don't think anybody can say Zach Wilson is the franchise quarterback. I also don't think anybody can say Zach Wilson is a bust. I think it's way too early to say either of those two things. I think you have to give a quarterback 3 years in the league to determine their success in the NFL. Every single player develops at their own rate. Now, can Zach Wilson absolutely blow up in year number 2 and prove to be our franchise quarterback? Yeah, that could happen. But I feel like people need to realize you can't look at his rookie season and just quickly be like, oh, he's a bust. He's terrible. So it's hard to really compare the Sam Darnold situation with the Zach Wilson situation because they're two different quarterbacks. Sam was more of a big athletic quarterback that can throw off platform, cannot throw the ball deep, really. Sam did not have that arm that can stretch the field. Zach Wilson has that arm where he can throw the ball like 50 yards with a flick of his wrist. And another big problem that Sam had, which I'm hoping that Zach does not have this problem, which he hasn't proved it yet, is what I was talking about is the mental aspect of the game. That is like the most important part of being a quarterback, is being able to process. Like, how do you guys think Tom Brady is playing football at this level at that age, right? First of all, Tom Brady is the GOAT, right? Unfortunately, I have to say that as a Jets fan. Hurts me to say it, but it's a fact, right? The reason why Tom Brady is playing at 44 years old and still playing elite, it's not because of his body. It's not because of his arm talent. It's not because of his mobility. It's all Tom Brady's mastering of the game of football. It's the mind. Does that make any sense, guys? Peyton Manning. What made Peyton Manning so good? Peyton Manning could just dissect defenses where he would audible, he would call his own plays. Like if you see all these quarterbacks around the league and you want to project, who can Zach Wilson can become? How does Zach become a franchise quarterback? You have to look at all these veterans that's been there, been future Hall of Famers and these franchise quarterbacks, and you realize that there's so much to this team, to the game of the quarterback than you think. Wilson greater than Sanchez. Speaking of Mark Sanchez, I absolutely love what Mark Sanchez had to say about Zach Wilson. And I absolutely love Mark Sanchez, by the way. He's a great personality. He's now at that show with Nick Mangold, that interview with Eric Allen, which I'm about to talk about right now. He's a full-time broadcaster for Fox Sports. Mark Sanchez is a great personality, and I'm really happy to see him thriving in the media because, I don't know, Sanchez is awesome. But what Mark Sanchez had to say about Zach when he was asked about him by Eric Allen, he had something really interesting to say that I never really thought about, which is awesome, about Zach Wilson. He said that Zach Wilson is a gunslinger. Zach Wilson is not afraid to throw the ball into tight windows. He's a little over aggressive, right? You'd want your young quarterback to have the trait of being so aggressive to the point where you want to teach him how to tone it back. Rather, on the other hand, than having a quarterback that's a little more conservative, that doesn't want to take the risks, that doesn't have that intuitive, risk-taking nature to throw the ball into tight windows where you have to teach him, hey, you should try to throw that. You should try to do that. So it's cool that the Jets have a young quarterback in Zach Wilson that's a mini, aggressive gunslinger where he, forces the ball into tight windows where they're going to catch up to him. He's going to have bad throws where he's going to try something that just he shouldn't have tried it in the game. And we're like, Zach, why'd you do that? But then the next drive or something, the next quarter or whatever, next game, he tries something where he throws it and you're like, oh my God, Zach, why'd you throw it? And then it's like the craziest throw you've ever seen. It's a touchdown. It's like a highlight. Like, that's Zach Wilson. So I love that Mark Sanchez brought that up, that Zach is kind of a quarterback that you want his instincts to be trying to go for the big play, where you teach him how to tone it back rather than a quarterback being a little conservative and teaching him how to try a little more. And that's kind of like Mac Jones, for example. I feel like he's going to be a good quarterback for the Patriots, but he doesn't scare me. He's like a conservative guy that's going to play within the structure of the offense. He's not going to do a crazy play that's going to like win them the game. He might here and there. He did have a pretty good rookie season, not going to lie. But Mac Jones, I think we can all agree, is not a quarterback where we're like, we can't go to sleep at night. Like Josh Allen, for example, that's a quarterback that kind of keeps me up at night as a Jets fan. I have to admit it. Josh Allen is that good. So if that makes any sense, Josh Allen has that instinct too, where he is aggressive. He tries things. He has a cannon where he just forces the ball into tight windows, and sometimes he throws it, and you're like, why do you do that? Same with Patrick Mahomes. That's his mindset. Tony Romo, that was his mindset. So I like that Zach Wilson has that mindset where he can just have that instinctual ability to just try the impossible, because those impossibles will become reality eventually as he develops his progression as the quarterback for the New York Jets. Zach Wilson has the determination and focus to learn. You can't beat that. He wants to learn, and repetition makes plays easiest to manifest in games. Well said, man. I agree. Yo, Richie, when are we going to start seeing videos of the Jets in practice? Well, minicamp starts tomorrow, so it might be tomorrow and the next day, if that's what you're referring to. Or I don't know if you're talking about like One Jets Drive. One Jets Drive is not going to be out for a couple of months, a couple of weeks down the line. But Flight 2022 comes out this week, which will be an entire off-season look at behind the scenes of free agency, the NFL draft, all that fun stuff that the Jets do with their production team, which is like next level. I've been a Jets fan since Pennington, since I was 9 years old, and never looked back since. Same, pretty much. I've been a Jets fan since Chad Pennington as well. Can't wait. Flight 22 is going to be sick. Memory is the base of all intelligence. King Blaze is just spitting facts right now. Who's the Jets' backup quarterback? It's between Mike White and Joe Flacco. I mean, I prefer Mike White because, I don't know, I feel like Mike White is in the Hall of Fame, right? Joe Flacco, Super Bowl quarterback, fun, but I don't know. It's gonna be between Mike White and Joe Flacco for that QB2 spot, excuse me. We never got to see the great catch that Michael Carter made a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of flashy plays that's happening in practices that we're hearing about, but we're not going to be able to see. Salah and Wilson need to show improvement this year. Rodrigo, you are correct. Not only does Zach Wilson need to improve, but Robert Salah needs to improve as a head coach, because Robert Salah didn't really prove that much last year in his first year. I believe in him. I think that he has everything you want in a head coach for this franchise. But if you're a defensive-minded guy as a head coach, you cannot have a 32nd ranked defense. Can't happen, right? I know there's a lot of things that went against him last year with injuries and youth, but that can't happen again. It just can't. It just really can't. Like, the Jets need to be at least a top 20 defense. Us as Jets fans, the past 10 to 12 years, we've sucked, but we've always had a good defense, right? It's been the offense has been the issue. It's kind of weird that it's transitioning to the point where offense is getting good, the defense is like behind them. But at the same time, where the NFL is going, that is a good thing. What's the Jets' biggest weaknesses? When it comes to the defensive side of the ball, I would say stopping the run is going to be an issue. We lost Foley Fatukasi. We don't have that big-time run stuffer. And the linebackers and the safety unit are the two issues. Yep, Dave just hit it on the head. I'm right about run defense. That's definitely a big weakness. And the linebacker depth, for sure. That's a bigger question than any other. Is Salah just a D coordinator? Well, you can't really answer that right now. I think it's too premature. You got to give Robert Saleh a real healthy defense because think about it. Last year, the New York Jets signed Carl Lawson to be the entire defense. He doesn't even play one snap. They also signed Vinny Curry to be a big part of that defensive line. Did not play a snap. They signed LaMarcus Joyner to be a big part of that secondary that's going to be the veteran presence. Out week number 1 for the entire season. And then we throw out, I can go on. I don't want to sound like I'm making excuses right now, but what I'm trying to say is we got to give Robert Saleh an opportunity with a healthy defense. We need to see Carl Lawson on the field, DJ Reed healthy, Sauce Gardner healthy, CJ Mosley healthy, Quinn Williams healthy, Jordan Whitehead healthy. All the guys that Joe Douglas acquires in the offseason just need to stay on the field, and then we can evaluate this defense, and then we can evaluate Robert Saleh as a coach. Because another thing, you cannot evaluate Robert Saleh as a head coach just by how the defense is doing, because that's not his job. His job is not the defense. Robert Saleh's job is the offense, the special teams, and the defense. When you're a head coach like him, he's taking over the CEO role. He's not calling the plays on the defensive side of the ball. That's Jeff Ulbricht's job. Robert Saleh needs to make sure that he's in every single department, which he is doing. So that's how you can really determine if Robert Saleh is a successful head coach or not. Is he holding players accountable? Does he have good coaching skills in game, good game management? Is he calling the right timeouts at the right time? Is he, challenging the right plays? Is he riling his guys up at halftime? Right? There's a lot of things that comes to the head coach besides just one side of the ball. But obviously he needs the defense to, do something because that's his expertise. So guys, again, if you want to help me out to get the 100 likes, that would be greatly appreciated. We got 80 likes with over 150 people tuning in. So if you guys can help me out, get 20 more likes on the channel, that will be greatly, greatly appreciated. After beefing up running back, offensive guard, and tight end position, I would not be surprised if the Jets are a top 10 run team. That alone will climb defensive rank through time of possession. Absolutely, man. The offensive struggles was a big reason for the defensive struggles. Because if your offense just keeps getting 3 and out, the defense is going to be on the field so much where they're tired, they don't have any energy left, and then all of a sudden the defense is on the field for like 75% of the game. So the offense, especially the run game, as Dave is bringing up, if they can win the clock and just run the ball and just maintain the ball and protect the football and don't turn it over, that's going to be a big factor for that defense. Hit that like button. Yes, sir, King Blaze. Appreciate you. The defense just had a major overhaul. Yes, they did, John. Big time overhaul, man. Add Jermaine Johnson to that defensive line. You add even Carl Lawson. Like that's an acquisition if he's healthy. Vinny Curry, that's an acquisition if he's healthy. Solomon Thomas, that defensive line got beefed up. The corners, we have 2 literally brand new outside corners now. One being the best corner in the entire draft. Another guy in DJ Reed, who did not give up a damn touchdown last year on the right side of the field. And then you add a guy who's a Super Bowl champion who played for Todd Bowles and Jordan Whitehead. And then we're getting LaMarcus Joyner back. The defense is completely different this year on paper. The main thing I noticed from last year's Ulbrich never putting a man on the running back out of the backfield. They always just seem to get open. What do you think? Yeah, I mean, this defensive, philosophy, the kryptonite of it, or the weakness rather, is they're an attacking front. So offenses love to throw those slip screens to the running backs because the defensive line and the linebackers are so aggressive to the point where it sucks you in, and then they dump it off to the running back, and you're like, why is there nobody in the running back? So you're right, Jack. That is definitely something that Ulbrich needs to clean up because that was really, really bad last year. Pretty bad. Pretty bad. Lawson will have 10 sacks. Yes, sir. Weakest position and strongest position. I think the weakest position is the linebackers. The strongest position. What do you guys think the strongest position on this team is? Is it wide receivers? Oh, no, it's defensive line. That's the strongest position. On paper, the D-line. in my opinion, is the strongest position. And let me say this. If the D-line is the strongest position and they're the best position on this team, we're going to be a scary defense because that is the only position that needs to be successful in order for this defense to thrive. Because without the defensive line thriving, nothing else will work. And that's the scary part about this scheme that scares me. Like, if they do not get consistent pass rush to the quarterback, not going to succeed. This system thrives on pass rush. So I would go D-line. But if I had to say the strongest position for the long term, like youth-wise, the corners are definitely up there and the wide receivers. I mean, even running backs. I mean, listen, we have Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson as the two dynamic wide receivers for the future. And we have Michael Carter and Breece Hall as the two running backs for the future. I've been begging the Jets to draft a running back and draft a wide receiver and develop them into our own stars. And we have two at each position now. Think of that. Think of that for a second, guys. You guys have any idea how long we've all been waiting for a true wide receiver to draft and develop into a beast? And also draft a running back and develop him into a beast? And now we have two of them in each position? Potentially? What? That's crazy. Shout out Joe Douglas. Michael Carter, Breece Hall, Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson. Yes, yes, sir. Woo! So, guys, I'm going to be... who wants to be the 100th like? 100th like. Going once. Going twice. I will be at the opener, David. Yes, I will. I will indeed be at the opener. Who wants to be the 100th like? Anybody? Hey, we got it. Appreciate whoever was that 100th like. You mean a lot to me, man. You mean a lot. So, guys, I'm going to be wrapping up the stream here. So we're wrapping up the OTAs preview. We've been live for over an hour. I appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning into the show. It means a lot to me, guys. Comment down below your thoughts of the stream after the stream's all wrapped up. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. There's a lot of things to look forward to. Look forward to my minicamp report tomorrow. So I'll be breaking down everything that happened at minicamp tomorrow and, of course, on Wednesday as well. So, guys, I really do appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning into Jets Media. Don't forget to like the video if you guys are not already and subscribe to the channel if you are new and help me get to 12,000 subscribers. That is all for me, and I'll catch you guys in my next streamer video. Catch you guys tomorrow. Peace out. Let's go.